Today is tax bill day, and the GOP's rightfully hated legislation has already passed the House, although it's going to have to do so again because it turned out about an hour and a half ago, the parliamentarian decided that there were several problems with the bill. Its name was inaccurate, as Bernie Sanders pointed out, so they're going to have to fix that. And there's also some issues with a couple of components of the bill that don't necessarily have anything to do with the budget, reconciliation process that they are using to move this through with only 51 votes rather than 60. So there's a couple of small technical changes. The bill will be re-voted on tomorrow, but it's expected that that will then pass. But anyway, tonight we also have the Senate voting on it, and that's where people's hopes to stop the bill sort of remain. But we do know at least what is in this final version of the bill because it has now been voted on by the House. So we have those final details here, which we'll talk about. And the entire thing is still shrouded in all of this controversy over especially the Corker amendment, the fact that many individuals like Corker, I believe 16 other senators, and of course President Trump are gonna make a ton of money because this new addition to the bill specifically aids people who have large real estate holdings but very few employees, which is supposed to be the exact opposite of how tax incentives work. It's supposed to benefit trying to get economic activity working. This seems to benefit just people who aren't really helping the economy much at all. But it is there.
Can I just say how proud I am of David Sirotto, who's a TYT contributor. Thanks to you guys, the Young Turks audience paid for our reporters and contributors. And he wrote it for the IB Times and then talked about it on the Young Turks. He broke that story completely, utterly. It was him, he found it. He found the difference. He asked Corker about it. Corker's answers were wildly inconsistent.
And remain so.
Yeah, and remain so. And now, everybody's calling out the Republicans for what is a clear giveaway, not only to Corker, but to Trump, to Kushner, and to a lot of the Republicans that were on there, and they tried to sneak it in, and they couldn't. And in the old days with just TV, they would have easily gotten away with it. But with the internet, with all these great reporters out there, they were caught red-handed.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a similar sort of one, that the fact that one of the things in this bill that remains is the carried interest tax loophole, which they've been talking about for so long that they're gonna get rid of. Even Trump said they're gonna get rid of it. And we're not gonna go into super big details because I think we've talked about it on the show before, but the basic idea is that if you are managing investment money, you get a certain fee based on the size of the fund, and you also get a percentage of the profits that are earned on that fund. And the way that the law is right now, you're taxed at a higher percentage on that first part than the second part. And the reason historically that carried interest is taxed at a lower rate is the idea is it's supposed to encourage people to be willing to invest more of their own money. But the people who are managing these funds, it's not their money. There's no risk to their capital whatsoever. So it makes no sense that is taxed at such a smaller percentage, significantly lower amounts. And that's why it's one of the iconic tax loopholes that they've been talking about closing for a very long time. But it's still in the bill. And although we have other elements of this bill that we want to talk about, I want to show you video with Representative Brady, a Republican, who is going to attempt to do some mental jujitsu to get you to move on from the fact that this totally unnecessary tax loophole remains in the bill.
Look, carried interest, we can talk about that for the next hour if you'd like. But for most Americans, they could care less about that. They care about their paychecks and getting the economy going. And frankly, I've got a college son as well, about making sure they have a good paying job when they're done with school.
We can hold both of these thoughts in our head at the same time, that some middle class Americans will get a tax break. But what about carried interest here? Because as you know, this goes to very wealthy people here in New York who make a lot of money. Why is it still in the bill?
Well, I'll tell you this, again, a 3-year holding period to make sure hedge funds aren't using and flipping these, making sure that you have to have capital at risk, that you hold it for a long period of time, and that you work to grow it. All that is the reasoning behind it. But again, perfect example, I think, of why Washington and New York get caught up in all these ancillary issues and forget the big picture here.
So nothing in what Sleepy Lex Luthor just said actually explains why they can't raise the taxes on that portion of, it's still not your money. It's not your money.
So let me go into more detail. So I kind of like his answer because he's saying, look, regular people don't know about this, so hush up.
We could talk about that for an hour. Well, I'd like to. No.
So he's saying basically, there's a giveaway to our donors, and we don't think that the average American understands it, so we're just gonna sneak it in.
Yeah.
So like he can't defend it. All he can say is regular Americans don't know about it, so please be quiet, and that's why they don't care about it. So I'm just gonna fill in what John said a little bit more so you understand. So if I give my money for a hedge fund to invest, and they make me let's say I give them $100 and they made me $20 through their investments. Well, nice job on the investments, and I got 20 extra bucks. The government wants to incentivize for me to invest, and so they're gonna let me pay a lower taxes on that 20 bucks. Now, the reality is rich people don't need any incentive to invest. You make money by investing. And Warren Buffett has said this so many times. It's a preposterous claim that, oh no, if you don't give tax incentives, rich people will just sit on their money and do nothing. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
But this is an extra layer of absurdity. The hedge fund, who did not risk any money, they took my money and invested it for me, they'd make 20% of the profits, okay? And that's because that's their job to invest, and they're saying part of how I'm gonna get compensated is taking 20% of the money I made for you.
And it theoretically incentivizes them to invest wisely so there will be more profits.
It incentivizes them to invest wisely, but that's their job.
Yes.
Okay, so it is in essence a salary for them, a wage for them. They are not risking any of their own money as an investment. So they are not. It does not spur any investment. All it does is have a tax break for hedge fund guys. And some of them do a great job, some of them do a bad job, but they get compensated richly for it.
Yeah.
They don't need an extra tax break, and one that has nothing to do with the stated purpose of creating more investments. Yeah. So that's why Kevin Brady cannot defend it. It is the real estate break of that Bob Corker wanted was a giveaway to some of the politicians because they happen to hold a lot of real estate. And of course to some of their donors. The hedge fund one, remember, Trump promised very clearly on the campaign trail that he would take this away. He was lying, and now they are not taking it away, and it is strictly for the benefit of their donors.
I only mention this because in the end of the last hour, you played a prediction. I don't often make predictions, and when I do, they're wrong. But after a debate, always, after a debate, when he said he would get rid of that, and he was getting all this credit as being different as the other Republicans on taxes, I said it would not happen. But I don't want to go find that. That seems complicated.
You just watched the video by the Young Turks, home of the revolution. If you'd like to get a lot more than that, get the full show by becoming a member. TYTnetwork.com/join.